If we go back even 10, 15 years ago, the size of the buying committee inside of these organizations was a third to a fourth of the size that it is today. So when you talk about those different layers of decision making that are happening within the organization and the different personas underneath the company and the ICP that you're talking about, tell us a little bit about how you learn, right? We can have a buying committee now that's easily 10, 15 people. And we might be talking to what we call the champion, right? The doorway in here. How do you think about then the personas within that buying committee? And how do we understand them and how do we reach them?
Yeah. Research is the short answer to that very long question. And as is the answer to most questions I'm asked, you start at the end. Understanding your buyer, understanding the committee that they're a part of, understanding who influences that decision. You can often get that information, certainly directly from your customers, right? Going back to the champions, start with the source. If you know who your ICP are and you've got customers that are big advocates for your brand, start by understanding what their experience was like, what their experience is in their organizations. Complement that with feedback and intelligence from your revenue organization. They've got their ears to the ground. They're interacting with these teams every day. They understand who the folks are that are getting brought into these buying committees. Every question that they're asking of them and some of the challenges that are being presented to your sellers, all of that's an important inputs to collect. Then go forward and think about how you overcome each of those individual concerns or objections. How do you complement the intelligence that you're getting from the field and from the ground with inside knowledge about the competitive space, about the business challenges, et cetera, to be able to help your sales team and your marketing team address some of those perceptions or beliefs head on.
If you do that really well, it's a very little used term, but we have bigger terms that we all know are like sales enablement for marketing, right? Like how
Mhm.
are we enabling that sales process? But then if we think about that, maybe our champion has their internal audiences that they're trying to influence. We've all had conversations with our champions. They love it. And they're like, okay, where are the biggest hurdles internally? What do you need in order to address IT, procurement, right? If we think in terms of enabling them in the same way that we enable our own internal sales teams, because these people aren't professional buyers. They've got their regular job, right? Think of the last time that you bought some tech for your MarTech stack, right? What percentage of your job was buying that particular
Yeah.
technology? Very small. So they're not professionals at it, right? And they need our help in all kinds of ways. So I love the way that you're thinking about the different layers and the different personas inside and how do we understand them and how do we collect all of that knowledge basically to enable them to sell internally and guide them through that process.
Yeah,
And
but they call them champions for a reason, right? They have a pain that they're trying to solve or an opportunity they're trying to take advantage of. They know their internal audience better than you do. So understand what it is, what are the challenges they're facing internally, and just ask the right questions to really get at the root of what they have to overcome internally, and then make sure you've got the resources at the ready to be able to overcome that. And whenever possible, obviously, asking for access to those stakeholders yourself so that they don't have to do the selling on your behalf, but you have the chance to meet those questions and objections directly head on.